phela isuyinzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, melela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama chana mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama chana mani. Yes, yes, makanana. Yes, yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. She got the shama chana mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama chana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. She got the shama chana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Yeah. Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Yeah. Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuyinzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, melela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha macharma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha macharma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Shigepisha macharma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha macharma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Shigepisha macharma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
khona kuyabikwa angikhathali eyo nto phela isuke inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
kuyabikwa angikhathali eyonto phela isuke inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele benza njalo I owe myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepe shama jarima Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepe shama jarima Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Shigepe shama jarima Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepe shama jarima Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Shigepe shama jarima Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana Yilesh makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
Shilo ini makanana
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
Shilo ini makanana
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
ungakhali eyonto phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phelisa uyinzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, kumele benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Ngathi siseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarman. Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarman. Yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana. She got the shama jarman. Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarman. Yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana. She got the shama jarman. Yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuke inzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo. Phumelela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelela. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phelisa uyinzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, melela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuke inzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, melela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Asiseseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. Yes makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes makanana.
Of this conflict, which nobody has a sense as to when it will end.
The Police District Commissioner in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, Vuyisile Ngata, has been announced as the Eastern Cape Provincial Commissioner. The announcement was made by the National Police Commissioner Fani Masamula at the provincial headquarters of the SAPS in Zwelitsha. Masamula says he is confident that they secured the correct candidate to fight crime in the province.
Lieutenant General Ngata brings with him 31 years of dedicated experience. Born and bred in Kwazakele in Nelson Mandela. He began his career at the police station and also he worked in POP. He went to the the Western Cape province where he worked as a station commander of Lango police station around 2011. He was promoted brigadier, station commander Nyanga police station.
A man has been shot and killed and 2 others wounded in a suspected minibus taxi violence incident in Delft last night. One of the wounded victims is an elderly man. Police spokesperson Wesley Twigg says the 3 victims had been standing at a taxi association's office when gunmen attacked them. He says no arrests have been made.
Police members attended to the crime scene where they found the victims with gunshot wounds to their bodies. The 36-year-old victim was declared deceased on the scene by medical personnel, while the other victims were transported to a medical facility for treatment. The suspects fled the scene and are yet to be arrested. The motive for the attack is believed to be taxi-related.
Suspended South Gauteng Director of Public Prosecutions Advocate Andrew Chauke has criticized former NPA head Shamila Batohi for misunderstanding the withdrawal of certain charges against former crime intelligence head Richard Mdluli. During cross-examination, Chauke testified that Batohi failed to grasp that the withdrawal was provisional pending the outcome of the Supreme Court of Appeal. He also testified that he reinstated the charges after the court ruling, which led to the prosecution of Mdluli and his co-accused, resulting in a conviction and an effective 5-year jail term. Mdluli was charged with the 1998 kidnapping and assault of his former lover's husband, Opara Mogibe. Chauke concluded his 4-day cross-examination before the Kabinde inquiry probing his fitness to hold office.
What has happened, as I indicated, there is a misreading or misunderstanding of the judgment. Once the SA made the judgment, it took the decision to decide on the matter and charge back it to the national director. I couldn't, in terms of their judgment, make a decision myself because that decision became now the decision of the NDPP to make. So our advocate Batohi and those around there could consider, even the opinion concluded that I failed to reinstate the charges once they were withdrawn.
Chairperson of the inquiry, retired Justice Bess Ngabinde, also weighed in on Chauke's testimony that Batohi might have misunderstood the process.
My understanding of her testimony was that your failure to reinstate those charges after the decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal is what really gave the problem and led to her doing what she did, because she seemed to have understood that withdrawal per se does not put an end to a criminal case. It can, at a later stage, be reinstituted.
With Easter just around the corner, several countries have warned their citizens to exercise extreme caution when travelling to South Africa. The United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia and New Zealand have all flagged serious concerns regarding violent crime, sophisticated scams, health hazards and even the threat of terrorism. The United States has officially kept South Africa on a level 2 advisory, which advises tourists to exercise heightened caution, specifically due to the risk of unrest and kidnapping. Violent crimes remain the most prominent issue raised by these foreign authorities. Recapping the top story, a team of cabinet ministers is expected to report back to President Cyril Ramaphosa in the coming days on possible measures to cushion both the economy and consumers from sharply rising electricity, food and transport costs. I'm on Delambana for SAFM News headlines at 1:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Meet Tato Makate, CMO of Koit, proving that South African tech can take on the world. Tato, why was Telkom Business the right call for your team?
Bottom line was connectivity and ensuring that we have the right service provider.
With Telkom Business Fiber, Koitek seamlessly connects local innovations with international manufacturing.
Get Stream Connect Fiber from just 399 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telkom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
There's a bold new rhythm on SABC2 and it starts Monday 9 February, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. A new vodcast, Our Space, fires up conversation with young perspectives. At 4:30 p.m, a new talk show, Ain't Like Let's Connect, hosted by Penny Lebiane and Fran Rico. At 7:30 p.m, Deal or No Deal, now in a new time slot, Raising the Tension with Katlego Mabuwe. At 9 p.m, the new telenovela, Pimville, starring Gil Mabalane and Tapelo Mokoena, brings bold Soweto stories to life. From 23 February at 7 p.m, settle in for new drama, Paradise, starring Losha Cooper, Ilse Klink and Zayn Mias. This is the new era of SABC2. Live in every beat, the pulse of SA. SABC2.
Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you commission live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
With Outsurance, saving on your car insurance feels like finding the last parking spot at the mall. 45-year-old Jason saves an unbelievable 520 Rand on his 2025 Hyundai i10. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get savings or cash and simply SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP, and of course, T's and C's do apply.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right. It is Lyra coming through with Believer. She's actually got a show happening on the 14th of this month, 14th of April. If I remember correctly, I think she's going to Gold Reef City and tickets are already on sale for that particular one. She celebrated her 47th birthday at Hughes 3 Saturdays ago. We were out for that show. 2 Saturdays ago, we were out for that show, and she's made such incredible progress since the last time she came on the Full Circle and we were talking. This was 2024, I think, was when she came on the show. She's got her speech has improved probably a good 30-40% even more. And now, unlike last time where she could only sing English songs and she was struggling to sing her indigenous language songs, she now can sing her indigenous language songs as well. So there's been great progress. And she's even got a brand new song out. Yes, she's got a brand new song. It is Lyra coming through with Believer. That is how we kick off the show this afternoon. I hope you've had a great one. We've got lots of conversation coming your way. We're looking at financial pressures that are affecting employee productivity in the workplace. I think we can all relate to that one. And then we've got a double dose of stages, pages, screens, and more. We're looking at a South African film as well as an exhibition. The Homecoming will be in conversation with Dr. Samin Luli around the latter of that. And because it is Tuesday for Health and Wellness today, we're going to be having a conversation as well that pertains to cancer. I'll tell you what else is coming up as we proceed. 061-410-4107. That's 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line. That should be the question pertaining to the first part of our conversation, is how much of the financial pressures and burdens that you carry at home, how much of those filter into your ability to show up in your fullness and be present in your fullness at work? I'd love to know. 061-410-4107.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Saturday afternoons in Mzansi, where loyalty is tested every single week. Manchester United fans still believing. Liverpool fans reminding you about history. Chelsea fans saying trust the process. City fans pretending this is all normal. Arsenal fans still shouting out, we are winning it this year. Every year, mate. But that's love. Through the wins, the heartbreak, the long rebuilds. The English Premier League, where we suffer together, celebrate together, and never stop believing. EPL, Saturdays at 4:30 p.m. on S3. Open up. S3.
Innovation does not end with the close of the SA Innovation Week. The week marked the beginning of deeper collaboration, continued investment, and sustained support for innovators throughout South Africa. SA Innovation Week was not just about dialogue, it was about commitments, partnerships, and actionable outcomes that will continue beyond the event. Brought to you by the Technology Innovation Agency, an entity of the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio. Stages, pages, screens, and more on the Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
All right, we're flipping the clock just a little bit. We're looking at the South African film A Shepherd's Joy, which has been selected for the Miami Beach Film Festival. Lungisani Lucas Guadiso joins us now, filmmaker behind A Shepherd's Joy. How are you doing this afternoon, Lungisani?
I'm good, Bridget. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great indeed. I mean, let's talk firstly around, your journey as a filmmaker. A little bit of an introduction behind who you are. Born in Durban. Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the platform. Such a big platform, I really appreciate it. I am Lungisani Lucas Kwadiso, born in Durban and raised in Mzimkhulu. Mzimkhulu is in Herigwala district. So my journey started in 2015 as an aspiring writer. So basically attending workshops, because I'm a self-taught filmmaker, I never attend any tertiary. I never studied film. So it started as a passion because I started writing from school, writing short stories, writing theater as an actor and as a writer in theater, writing short plays. After that, then I moved to film. So then, after a lot of rejection in applying for development funding at KZN Film Commission at that time, then they saw a need to invest in me and put me under their programs because they saw a potential and talent. So then they put me in their program as I did. I got my first certificate under KZN Film Commission. Where my scriptwriting certificate. So from there, I took an initiative to say, okay, let me produce something because there are tiers whenever you apply for development and to qualify for tier 1 in the industry, according to industry standards, you must already have produced at least a short film before they can trust you with financing your first project. So I made an initiative. I produced a documentary. It's a documentary on Abatembo tribe. It's a Xhosa speaking tribe that migrated to Lesotho from South Africa, Eastern Cape, Tembuland. It was called Tembuland before Africa was bordered. So they settled in Lesotho. Just found this interesting tribe for myself as a Xhosa speaking, and I'm also Umtembu. So I said, okay, let me do a documentary on these interesting and cultural oriented people. So I said, let me do a documentary on them. First attempt, it won an international award, Lesotho International Film Festival, and also it was screened in other big festival, Rustenburg Film Festival. In other festivals, it was rejected, but for me, that was a huge milestone. First attempt, first award.
Absolutely.
So these were, So a shepherd's joy.
We are going to get to, I don't want you to rush ahead, and we're definitely going to give A Shepherd's Joy all the glory in conversation indeed. But just in giving us a sort of backstory around how you come to be a storyteller and a filmmaker. Already, I know a lot of our young creative listeners who are listening who latched on to the fact that, you essentially are a desktop, you refer to yourself as a desktop filmmaker, self-taught in the art of storytelling, and of course went and got the relative skills that are required as well. That journey, it can't be, I can imagine that it's one filled with many a challenge and maybe even many a self-doubt when inside you want to tell stories and you probably have an eye for how you'd like those stories to be unpacked and packaged. Talk to us about how do you sort of overcome, if there was any self-doubt at the beginning stages, perhaps in how you even begin this journey.
Well, thank you very much for giving me enough time to dwell on that. It's a much needed information for upcoming filmmakers and their young filmmakers. It's a very challenging journey. I remember in 2018, I went to KZN Film Commission to teach. Before I could attempt any workshop or any formal program from the programs that I went under. So they called me to teach there. I think they just loved the synopsis because I had done my own research on how to write a synopsis. I was looking at synopsis of films on normally how you write a synopsis. But it's different from a produced film and a concept that you are going to teach. So writing those synopses are two different things.
Hmm.
So I was using structure because I didn't understand structure. I didn't know whether there is something called structure and how do you go about structuring a concept for a pitch. So I think they just loved the idea and they called me to pitch. I had written a script, first draft script. I didn't even know that there are software, industry standard software to structure like a script. They called me to pitch. I remember after that pitch, that's where I said, am I on the right journey though? Am I doing the right thing? Because so from there, I lacked a lot of confidence. I remember that time they called me for a pitch. Okay, I kept on practicing to do it for my first time pitching. I went inside the panel. I found the panel there. I pitched. And then when I went out, I remember, I won't mention names from the pitch, from the panel. But I remember the panel laughing at me before I could close the door. They laughed at me there. I know they are no longer there, but this is what I could just share, and I'm being honest. They laughed at me, and that thing killed me inside. I'm like, okay. That's when I started to say, okay, I need to prove a point that I can do this. I won't faint. I'll just continue doing it. I met at the church because I used to go to church. So our church youth person told me that there is a guy who's a script consultant. He's in the same industry with you. Do you mind showing him his work? I said, no, I don't mind. So then he contacted me. He said, but he stays in Newcastle. I said, I don't mind driving there because I want this.
Yeah.
So I drove to Newcastle. His name is Zama Kamasigan Msidi. He stays in Newcastle. So I went there. He welcomed me. I was supposed to go there, reach there in the morning and come back in the afternoon. So he said, no, it's fine. Can you stay a weekend? I said, no, I can stay a weekend. He said, yeah, because I can give you notes and let's work on your concept. But firstly, I need you to understand that how industry works and why you have been struggling.
Absolutely.
So that from here on you can have a clear picture of what it is can be done going forward, because I'm here to assist you. And he said, no, you don't have to pay. I'm doing you this. For me, as I'm paying tithes because I'm also a believer. So I'm paying tithes. This is what I'm doing. I'm giving you my time. I would be happy in the future if you can become a writer better than me. That's what he said.
Very important element of your life's journey there, because I think it speaks to the fact that along the way, we all need somebody who's going to plug in with a resource or with a guiding hand, even when they have nothing to gain. Fast forward to 2025, you then launch the very first Herigwala International Film Festival. One would not think that the Herigwala municipality, for instance, would be a hub of storytelling. Why was it important for you to launch a film festival in the area of your home?
At the rural areas, in as much as there is talent, and I'm not different from any other filmmaker, young filmmaker who's there in the rural areas who wants to go out there and who wants to tell the story, but there's lack of infrastructure. There's no office that administrates film, and there were no workshops at that time. I started in 2024, where I initiated local screening that were rotating around the district with the help of arts and culture and Mzimkhulu municipality. They endorsed and they encouraged me to continue doing it as a continuous thing. And also at that time, there was support of KZN Film Commission because they used to fund my screenings there. Because I used to invite filmmakers to come and screen their films and also do industry insights, information sharing, so that filmmakers like us would understand.
Sunny, let's pause it there for a second just to take the headline news. We'll come back on the other side and we'll get into a shepherd's joy. We're in conversation with filmmaker Ulungisani Hwatiso, who is a storyteller with a brand new one that's been selected for the Miami Beach Film Festival in the US that's kicking off in May. For now, though, it's 1:30. Time for Andela and the headline news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources has announced an increase in the price of fuel with effect from midnight tonight. And a team of cabinet ministers is expected to report back to President Cyril Ramaphosa in the coming days on possible measures to cushion both the economy and consumers from sharply rising electricity, food and transport costs. And the Border Management Authority says it has begun rolling out its operations for the Easter period. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
All right, it's gone 1:30 on The Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, and we're in conversation with Lungisani Lucas Kwatiso, who is a filmmaker coming all the way from Umzimkhulu in the Herigwala district. The film A Shepherd's Joy has been selected for the Miami Beach Festival, which is kicking off in the U.S. this coming May 2026. Talk to us about this short film, A Shepherd's Joy.
It's a great film, Bridget, and thanks to the MSDF with their program, Presidential Employment Stimulus Program, which they trusted us enough to execute this beautiful film. The Shepherd's Joy tells the story of a disheartened school dropout. It's a boy who has been repeatedly failing a class in Matatiel. So he's in the journey of owning his own flock. He looks up to his father. So he's employed as a shepherd and has to overcome the cruelty of his employer. It's a life that he lived in Matatiel. Young boys being shepherds, especially boys who are not academically gifted, they become shepherds and all that. So it's just a story that speaks to how important is the passing of indigenous knowledge and how those children can be helped. Children who are not academically gifted but practically business-minded and gifted. So it's basically a story that speaks to that, where we see Guinikaya having to overcome all that, and then we throw in elements of indigenous knowledge of taking care of barren sheep that his cruel employer used to pay his wage. But then, luckily, he's highly gifted in terms of with like herbs and all that. So he ends up helping his wealthy owner. Despite him being cruel towards it, and he ends up owning his own flock. Yeah. So it's basically a short film about that.
We were desperately trying on our end. I think we've got it sorted because we did want to play a trailer. Let's give it a shot quickly. Here's the trailer for A Shepherd's Joy.
Sukhathazeka ngegusha lezatinikezwana zingasabili. Kunendlela yalapha ekhaya esalungisa nayo zonke.
That was a bit of a trailer there from A Shepherd's Joy, which is a short film by Lungisani, airing at the Miami Beach Film Festival this coming May in the USA. And hopefully, Lungisani, as we wrap up the conversation, hopefully A Shepherd's Joy will find its way onto the South African Film Festival circuit.
Definitely, and I thank God for this opportunity and all the crew and the cast who made sure that this project looks so good, and the international audience have appetite for it, and thanks to every stakeholder who played their part in making sure that we execute this beautiful project. It's my first funded project, and it's my first fiction film, so I really thank God and the crew.
Wonderful. We wish you the very best of luck. That was filmmaker and storyteller Ulungsani Lucas Khwadiso, who is, of course, behind A Shepherd's Joy. Let's take a quick pause, and then we come back on the other side, and we get into a conversation with Lindiwe Sibesho, and we're looking at financial pressures and how those could be affecting employee productivity in the workplace. No doubt, maybe where you're sitting from your vantage point, you can identify with this conversation.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
It's a new day, new deadlines. You're gonna do your best. You're only human.
Thank you for your patience.
So why, when contacting your business's current provider, an automated voice adds you to an imaginary queue, like you're just another number?
Your caller number 17.
Not exactly humane, is it? Don't let bad tech choices get in the way. Switch to a dedicated human specialist, because nothing should stop your business. Call 084 1234. Cell C.
Innovation does not end with the close of the SA Innovation Week. The week marked the beginning of deeper collaboration, continued investment and sustained support for innovators throughout South Africa. SA Innovation Week was not just about dialogue, it was about commitments, partnerships and actionable outcomes that will continue beyond the event. Brought to you by the Technology Innovation Agency, an entity of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, we are talking to Lindiwe Sibesho, our Master Reward Specialist and Executive Committee member at the South African Reward Association. And we're looking at financial pressures and how those are affecting employee productivity in the workplace. And for many South African employees, the dread of debt is growing faster than income. The unexpected expenses don't just stay at home, they follow us to work, affecting our focus, our productivity and well-being. And note, I said they follow us to work, because I feel like no South African, at least the ones in studio, are not removed from the financial pressures. How are you doing this afternoon, Lindiwe?
Good afternoon, Bridget. And yes, they do follow us to work. I'm at work right now, and I feel like everything I take to work comes from wherever I've been, home or elsewhere.
Absolutely. I mean, here we are on the brink of this historically astronomical petrol price increase, which means it will have a ripple effect across the board on just the cost of living. And the financial burden that employees have is far heavier this year. Here's the flip part. We watched the minister give our sort of financial report back and budgeting, and we thought we were going to have a decent 2026, only for the script to be flipped on us, and we almost feel blindsided.
Absolutely, and we were really hopeful. I think even from a GDP perspective, we thought that there would be an above 1% growth this year. That would give a lot of businesses confidence to start investing. And investment also means that they start creating a lot more employment opportunities. We have a very high unemployment rate in this country. So we had really a positive outlook until, as you say, everything just turned upside down. And now we are facing this very, very high fuel cost, and it is also at the time that a lot of employers had already called for return to the office mandates for a lot of employees that had been working from home post-COVID.
Absolutely. Are the pressures that we are feeling right now, Are they across the board? Can we assume and surmise that for the vast majority of South Africans at various levels, we are all feeling the financial constraints and that pressure leveled on us?
Absolutely, Bridget. They are across the board. It's not just your low-income earners, but it's also your high-income earners. And I think we've seen bank, stats, for instance, in most financial services or banking sector, for instance, they are showing those that can afford credit are taking up that credit because they are having to also do quite a lot, not only to sustain their lifestyle, but most likely to also support broader family members that are struggling and are not able to find jobs. So for the lower income earners, yes, it's basic needs which are at risk, transport, food, rent, and so on. For middle income workers, they are the squeezed middle. They have to deal with bond repayments, school fees, car installments. All these have indexed up as a result of everything that has a knock-on effect, including the much anticipated petrol price. And as I said, high-income workers are not immune. There are lifestyle inflation, private school fees, medical aid hikes. The financial stress just shows up in various levels of the employment, life cycle, but also from a productivity level, we are seeing loss and presenteeism coming through because everyone is just in survival mode at the moment.
And what does that do, Lindy, with that sense of being in survival mode? I mean, what does that do for an employee in the workplace? How does that affect? Because I can already imagine when you are at loggerheads with your employer and you can't come to some kind of understanding at this first quarter of the year around increments, it almost creates a negative vibration in your relationship already. You walk into the building almost begrudgingly, like, hey, these people don't take me serious.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely does. I think a lot of people are stressed. They are trying as much as possible to hold on to their jobs because they know that it's important to earn a living, but at the same time, they are very, very stressed about everything else that they have to deal with outside of the workplace that they bring, as we said earlier, into the workplace. So it does manifest in productivity. It does manifest in people really being stressed, mental health. Probably, as I said, either they are there from a presenteeism perspective because they have to show up, or you start seeing increases in absenteeism or really just sick leave, where people are taking time out in order to try and deal with all the pressures that they are experiencing. Unfortunately, it does then mean that productivity impact results in the performance of individuals, but also of teams and ultimately of organizations. And yet it is actually at a time when a lot of organizations need to be performing, creating the value that they can then share with employees through increased employment, but also through incentives for those that are able to pay incentives.
Is it a catch-22 for everybody at the moment? Because I don't know the situation as it stands. Maybe an employer wants to do more, but is not in a position to do more. And so the perception is you don't want to because you just don't want to. It's hard to sort of jump over, cross the bridge and understand each other and where we stand in this very precarious situation.
Absolutely, it's hard, and I don't think anyone is trying to not deal with the situation as effectively as they can. It's just that we need to also remember that employers are legal entities. Individuals are individual entities, and these two parties need to work together to try and find means of managing the situation. And I always say South Africans in particular are very resilient people. So we are hoping that as a South African Reward Association that the parties will come together and look at ways in which they can assist each other, continue to be productive, continue to produce, serve clients, produce the goods and services that are required, obviously within the constraints that I think we will all face. So we've got quite a few suggestions that we've put out there as part of the article that we shared as Sarah that can help both parties, employer and employee, really find one another in those difficult circumstances.
One of those suggestions you point to open communication, particularly around pay structures and clear criteria for progression. Let's talk about open communication, because at times maybe employers, the perception is they play their cards too close to their chest, and not every situation requires that kind of, I guess, secrecy.
So it's very important, and I always say that the first point of reference for both the employer and employee is really to communicate their remuneration policy, their strategy, their approach to doing benchmarks, their affordability in terms of salary review mandates, as well as all the other elements that they provide in the package, for instance, the benefits. Employees most often focus on the cash salary without necessarily looking at the benefits that also come as part of the package. That needs to be communicated. That needs to be understood. People are, yes, under pressure for means to make sure that they've got the cash for the short term, but there's a lot of benefits in packages that also protect and hopefully help people save for the long term. There is, medical aid benefits. There are various financial wellness programs that organizations provide for, so that people can at least have the financial literacy and the financial, know-how to manage within the limited means that they have. So that is very important. Policy communication, unpacking the salary package in its totality, both from a cash and benefits, and if there are incentives, also talk about that perspective. Create an environment where employees can ask, not that just the human capital or HR people, but really the line managers, which means everybody needs to be fully informed about the policy of the organization and how it works.
Absolutely. Just in closing, my tech producer here today, as we were beginning the conversation, she made an observation that most likely going into this year, we're probably going to see more people utilizing services like debt review. And you speak of training managers to recognize signs of financial stress and connecting employees with resources to ensure that no one falls through the cracks.
Yeah. That's very important. And I think line managers, especially because they are, closest to the teams that work for them, they really need to be able to identify those signs. And also just look at how employees, patterns change. For instance, employees that are top performers suddenly calling in sick because they just not maybe physically unwell, but because they cannot afford transport to get to work. There are various means, for instance, that employers that have identified that can provide for. There is now, for instance, a prevalence towards end wage access, which means employees can be paid as they earn their salaries as opposed to them being paid once a month. In other words, as they earn each day, the employer can find ways of making that salary that has been earned available, because this can then address the short-term needs, obviously taking into consideration the fact that people still have monthly obligations. So it does have to come with some financial education or financial assessment to make sure that there is affordability. But at least it prevents employees from accessing very expensive credit from Abomashonisa and so on. So it's very important. Distractions during meetings, Bridget. Sometimes you can see a person who is really not focused because they either haven't slept well, they are tired, and if you know your people as a line manager, you will be able to pick up on those signs and then start a conversation. Where you've got an EAP program, you can assist by first understanding what may be going on, but also referring and encouraging people to use those services. And then physical well-being. It sometimes doesn't cost anything for employees to be encouraged to be physically well, exercise, make sure that the mental health is strengthened through physical activity. So employee well-being includes wellness from a physical perspective. Absolutely. The other thing that employers can look at is look at your payroll and see whether there are more garnishee orders going, are there repeated salary advance requests, and so on and so on. And when you see that, you need to identify the fact that there will obviously be a reason for these increased garnishee orders. People are really stressed because money is now being taken out of payroll, meaning that cash, at the end of the month is very limited. Very limited, yeah.
I mean, sage advice there, I think, for any employer that really centers his biggest resource, and that's his human or her human resource in the organization. Lindiwe Sibesho, thank you so much for the time. Master Reward Specialist and Executive Committee Member at the South African Rewards Association. 10 to 2 o'clock, a quick pause. We come back with Dr. Same Ndluli, who is the Standard Bank Curator and Gallery Manager, and we look at the exhibition Homecoming. It is the return of the Johannesburg Art Gallery collection.
As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Now leave the SABC and see the tower block lit up, 27 stories of light. Move from Auckland Park into the shadow of the Hillbrow Post Office Tower.
This is the English service of the SABC. Here is the news, read by Patricia Carr. A member of the Planning Committee of the President's Council, Mr. Nick Churnicht, has been appointed chairman of the Council's Community Relations Community.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM. Stages, pages, screens and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
At least some positive news coming out of government, because we've been waiting for them to say something, make some kind of indication that they were going to come in to assist us. So they're cutting the fuel levy by 3 Rand. Not too sure about the details right now. The Minister of Finance is currently on the podium, I'm sure, unpacking all of that. So you can catch it on SABC 404. Dr. Same Ndluli joins me now, Standard Bank Curator and Gallery Manager for Stages, Pages, Screens and more. And we're looking at the homecoming, the return of the Johannesburg Art Gallery collection in partnership with JAG itself. How are you doing this afternoon, Dr. Same?
I'm good, thanks, and you, Bridget, and thanks for having me on your show.
I'm fantastic. Thank you for the time. So after nearly 2 years abroad, homecoming, it's the return of the Johannesburg Art Gallery collection. Give us some context, because obviously we know that JAG had been plagued with many issues for a number of years now. The gallery literally just left to its own device with no one except for friends of JAG and art lovers championing its cause. Give us the story behind how the collection came to travel and how it comes back.
Yeah. So, essentially we as Standard Bank, it's important, I think, to think about us maybe as another leg of this exhibition touring. So as you said, it's been all over the world for the past 2 years. It went to Italy, in fact, where it started at the Palazzo Barolo in Italy. It then went on to Busan Cultural Center and 3 other venues, the Sejong Center of Performing Arts in South Korea, and did so well in South Korea, drawing about 5,000 visitors just coming to see the exhibition. And then it returns and comes back, obviously, to Johannesburg, where the works belong, and hence the title of the show, Homecoming, which we are kind of, curatorially using metaphorically to speak about not just the works returning to Johannesburg, but about Johannesburg itself, right? That if we think about the metropole of Johannesburg, it is a migrant city grounded, on and rooted in, people coming here for opportunities. If if you live in Johannesburg, you know that in December there's this mass exodus back to people's homes, and then they come back again in January back to work. So we were playing also with this idea when thinking about the exhibition returning and coming back to Johannesburg.
I love how you word it in the presser when you say homecoming is more than a return. It's a meditation on belonging and on what it means for a collection shaped by colonial histories and institutional exclusions to re-enter the public sphere in a city defined defined by migration, movement, and reinvention. Johannesburg is a city that understands the notion of returning. It understands displacement. It understands rebuilding. And that in itself really surmises the story of if walls could talk, which we sometimes believe that these white boxes that we call galleries and museum hold so much. If walls could talk, the JAG collection really would resonate with a lot of these sentiments.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it was important for us to, in the works returning, to also think about the context in which they are returning to. And so we also, for example, added a few more pieces from the collections, that come from, African artists, to make it more relevant and resonate a lot more with the audience that would then be coming to see it here in Johannesburg. I think it did a very different thing when it traveled internationally, which was, again, I think, positioning Johannesburg, the city, but also JAG as this cultural institutions that really hold some of the most important art pieces, but by some of the most important artists in the world, really. And then, of course, when it comes back to Johannesburg, so the sense of you're talking about of belonging, and kind of replacing it and reclamation in a sense of it then, making sense and resonating with local audiences was important for us as the curators.
Let's talk, Dr. Same, about some of the works that are housed within this collection and the significance of those particular pieces, as well as the voices of those artists.
So the exhibition consists of just over 145 artworks here. We've also included a few ceramic pieces in the downstairs space, but the majority of it really are what comes from what is considered the founding collection of the JAG. JAG was, of course, established in 1910 by Lord Phillips and his wife, Lady Florence Phillips. And it was kind of set up, to also just, again, I think, bring a sense of culture to what was then, like a mining dump, where the discovery of gold at the time. If you think about Johannesburg in 1910 and what it could have looked like. And so what you're seeing then is the kind of classical Western masters. There's a selection of works from the Dutch masters. You also have some contemporary pieces from some of the American greats, including Andy Warhol, Jasper John, Robert Rauschenberg, Lichtenstein. These are all artists from the pop art movement that, again, I think also what these artists also, and these artworks illustrate is how some of the things they were preoccupied with at the time, the 80s and 90s, and even going quite, as far as back as the 16th century when you think about the Dutch masters. So a lot of these social issues that are represented in the artworks still resonate with today, which I think is quite significant, and the beauty about artworks being able to tell a story and tell a narrative, but more so teach us lessons.
Absolutely, indeed. So the exhibition opened on the 17th of March, and it's running for quite a significant time until the 31st of October out at the Standard Bank Gallery, which is on Simmons in Marshalltown, a wonderful space right there. And I'm assuming, because I know when it comes to your extended programming, you do love to engage the works and you do love to engage an audience. So if folks follow the gallery on social media, they'll be able to keep abreast with what might be coming up on the calendar.
Yes, absolutely. One thing we are also really, I think, quite intentional about in opening up this exhibition for and making it widely accessible is reaching out to the schools. If when you come and see the exhibition, you'll also see that it's not just an exhibition of the collection, but actually also an art history lesson. So you go through, the art history canon, and you go through a timeline of sorts of really important moments during art history, both internationally and locally. We're also opening it up to universities, for example, and across, not just, students studying art. It can be, engineers, it can be architects, etc. Because there's always something around, how art is kind of touch on different social and political and economic issues.
Absolutely. Dr. Same Ndluli, thank you so much for the time. Standard Bank curator and gallery manager of the Standard Bank galleries, and you can go down to their big gallery, their main hub there on Simmons until the 31st of October if you want to see Homecoming, the return of the Johannesburg Art Gallery collection. The news is coming up with Ondelambana. No doubt she's going to unpack more on this decision to cut the fuel levies by 3 rands and giving us much needed relief.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, an increase in the price of fuel announced, and U.S. State Department reacts to Israel's right on setting its own laws. For SAFM News, I'm Ondelambana, and a very good day. The Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources has announced an increase in the price of fuel with effect from midnight tonight. Both grades of petrol will go up by 3 rand 6 cents per litre, while diesel will shoot up by between 7 rand and 37 rand 51 per litre. Illuminating paraffin sees the highest increase on record of 11 rand 67 cents per litre. The latest adjustments to the fuel price come after government stepped in to cut the general fuel levy by 3 rand a litre for a 1-month period, ending on the 5th of May. This is expected to cost the fiscus around 6 billion rand in lost revenue. Spokesperson for the department, Lerato Nzoko.
Illuminating paraffin for wholesale will increase by 11 rands and 67 cents per litre. The single maximum national retail price for illuminating paraffin will increase by 15 rands and 60 cents per litre. Maximum retail price for LP gas will increase by 1 rand and 8 cents per kilogram and 1 rand and 23 cents per kilogram in the Western Cape.
Several fuel filling stations in Mbombela and surrounding areas in Mpumalanga have run out of fuel, while others are experiencing long queues. This comes ahead of the price hikes. These motorists have rushed to beat the increases.
When I arrived here, they told me that the petrol is finished and there's a truck there that is trying to offload the petrol. But as you can see, you have to wait for the truck.
I came here to fill up my car with a full tank, and I also have 25 liters as well, just to have a backup for a few weeks.
We've been there in White River, diesel is running out. So now I'm from work, I have to fill my car before midnight, so to escape the wash. And as we're gonna see, the line start to picking up. Hey, it's too bad, man.
A team of cabinet ministers is expected to report back to President Cyril Ramaphosa in the coming days on possible measures to cushion both the economy and consumers from sharply rising electricity, food and transport costs. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya confirmed this to the media on the sidelines of the 6th South African Investment Conference in Sandton, Johannesburg.
The conflict in the Middle East came at the back of the budget announcement. What now has to happen is we have to go back and relook some of those budget aspects around fuel and other related aspects. The president has put together a team of ministers that include the Minister of Finance, Minister Tau, Minister Nchabeni, Minister Lamola, Minister Mantashe, to look at how we cushion the economy, but more importantly, we cushion consumers in light of this conflict, which nobody has a sense as to when it will end.
Deputy Police Commissioner Tibelo Mosigidi says they are committed to ensuring a safe environment for the citizens of the Western Cape. She was addressing a joint operational parade with the South African National Defence Force and the City of Cape Town ahead of the deployment of soldiers to crime-ridden areas in the Western Cape. The deployment of the army to gang hotspots is expected tomorrow. The parade forms part of final readiness preparations for Operation Prosper. Mosigidi says the focus of the deployment will also be on organised crime.
A properly focused coordination strategy or deployment strategies, intelligence-led policing and operations, stabilization techniques, protection of critical infrastructure, protection and safety of our communities.
The U.S. State Department says it respects Israel's right to set its own laws after its parliament approved a bill which would make the death penalty the default sentence for Palestinians convicted of deadly terror attacks. Countries including Germany, France, Italy and Britain had expressed deep concern about the matter. Shortly after it was passed, an Israel human rights group said it had lodged a complaint with the country's Supreme Court. Stephanie Durajic says the UN Secretary General spokesperson expressed his opposition.
We are against the death penalty in any circumstances, in any country, without any exception. I think what makes this law particularly cruel is the discriminatory aspect of the law. So we call on the Israeli authorities to stop the enactment of this law, and it is to be heard, we understand, in front of the High Court in Israel, and we hope this law will never come to pass.
Recapping the top story, the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources has announced an increase in the price of fuel with effect from midnight tonight. I'm on Lambana for SAFM News Headlines at 2:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you Commission Live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Tandi Sumazwai coming through with Emini. What a show she put out at Carnival City leading up to her 50th birthday. It was absolutely incredible. It's one of those shows where people will say it was transcendent. We even had a little bit of a miniature bongo muffin reunion with her and Appleseed. Just Jasid. But it was enough for us. It is health and wellness because it is a Tuesday today after 2 o'clock. So we're having a conversation around colorectal cancer, and it is a National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. We are talking to a survivor and advocate, the regional director of the Southern Africa Global Colon Cancer Association. And we also have Dr. June Fabian, director of the Wits University Donald Gordon Medical Research Center just down the road here. Good afternoon to you both, and thank you so much for making the time. Perhaps let me start with you, Boy Dumelo. It is March. It is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and hopefully pronouncing that correctly. Let's talk about the dedicated focus towards raising awareness in March around this particular cancer.
Hi, Bridget, and thank you for your time. Yes, it is indeed Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. My name is Widumelo Ramasodi. I am a colon cancer survivor and patient advocate, and through the work that I do, I'm really dedicated to advocating for better awareness, earlier screening, and stronger health systems so people can get diagnosed sooner, because the truth is colorectal cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, especially when caught early.
And maybe let's jump in, Dr. June Fabian here. Good afternoon to you, Doc, and thank you for joining the show.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little as well around the importance of early screening, because much of the messaging around March is dedicated towards increasing screening rates, and the earlier the better.
Absolutely. So I think one of the challenges we have in South Africa is there isn't a national screening program. So it's quite hard to advocate and to get people to screen when we don't have a national policy to refer to. And to me, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your work with that, but ideally it would be great if we had a national screening program so that we could do public education on that. But within that, what we are seeing is we're seeing colorectal cancer increasingly in younger people. And in terms of that definition, it's people below the age of 50. So before we would always say if you're 50 or older, you should be screened. And classically, I think most people have this idea that colorectal cancer happens to people who are older. But now they've decreased the recommendations internationally for screening to 45, actually.
And
so I think the biggest shift, yes. So I think the biggest shift for us is not only the fact that we aren't screening and we don't have an awareness of it. I think what we're concerned about is that our young people are getting cancer, and those are ones who get missed even more. So, for example, the youngest person we've ever had on a study who actually died kept going to the clinic and kept saying that he's got rectal bleeding, which is bleeding from the anus. And he was told all the time that he's got hemorrhoids. So I think people don't connect symptoms with people who are especially younger. And I think that, in a way, almost compromises them even more because we find them very late. And then it's even harder to help them.
I think, whilst we on that, it speaks to the understanding of symptoms, and we'll definitely double back to, because Doc June, you threw the question around screening to Boitumelo, and we'll double back to that. But let's talk, Dr. June, around the symptoms. What are those symptoms, and who perhaps is at higher risk for colon cancer?
I think I'll take that. I think I'll take that. The symptoms really are unexplained weight loss, complications and in bowel habits, change in your bowel habits that lasts a couple of weeks. Blood in your stool is a big one, even ones. Those are, and of course, age and family history and lifestyle factors actually play a very important role in really the whole process. Yeah.
Doc, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so Bridget, I think we're seeing the kind of shape and form that it takes change as well. So we're seeing kind of an epidemic of obesity. So obesity is also related to that. Unexplained inflammation. So if you've got inflammatory bowel disease, for example, you are at increased risk. And then what we eat, lots of red meat, not a lot of fiber, not exercising. So I think part of the problem as well is that it's not one thing. You know, I can't say to you, it's this, and this tells you that you've got colorectal cancer. You know, it's a kind of a constellation. And then I think also sometimes you can have blood in your stool, what we call occult blood, where, like Tumi said, you might not see it, but it's there. And that you can pick up with a test at the lab. So even just having that test, looking for small bits of blood that you might not be able to see, would be very helpful with our screening initiatives.
Boitumelo, let's double back to that question around the absence of a national screening policy, which means really a gap in terms of screening programs.
Yeah, that's really the biggest issue in our country, the fact that we do not have a colorectal cancer policy. As such, we do not have a screening program or screening guidelines, at least, that informs what happens when a person contacts the primary health care facility with the first symptoms, the first occurrence of symptoms, you know, and this is where the delay is at. But really, work is being done in the background, the work that I do with a number of stakeholders, including Dr. June and the team that we're working on a study with, really to try and raise awareness and educate our communities around the signs and symptoms so that people know that they can advocate for themselves, but they wouldn't advocate for themselves if they don't know. And I know that when I was diagnosed, everything else that presented as symptoms to me never really registered as cancer, you know, and because nobody speaks about colorectal cancer enough, you know, in this country. And so really awareness plays a very big role, because the more people know, the better people can advocate for themselves, and the better we can move the system towards a system that's providing really access for our people on the ground.
And when we look at your story, Boitumelo, in terms of how you came to know of your diagnosis, in fact, you presented with symptoms that a lot of South Africans would identify with, you know, things that you can just get over-the-counter medicine and change your diet here or there. But it was more than that in your case. They kept on telling you you've got stomach ulcers, or maybe you've got IBS. There was nothing that pointed towards colon cancer.
Yes, it's like Doctor said earlier, it's not a one. Unfortunately, we cannot say specifically it's these symptoms. Studies are happening, but really for me, it was stomach ulcers and honestly heartburn. I suffered for a long time from heartburn and stomach ulcers. I lived on Gaviscon for the longest of time, and by the time I was diagnosed, I was at stage 3B, which was late. But I had suffered from these symptoms for a long time. And this is where the concern is, that this education and around awareness and educating, it's not just for us and you know, but even the healthcare system sort of doesn't connect these dots. And for me as a patient, and a survivor. That's where it's concerning from me. And I appreciate people like Dr. June and the team, the teams that I work with that really want to understand, and see colon cancer for what it is. Because I had been presenting with my symptoms for the longest of time, but my doctor could not pick it up as colon cancer until I advocated, and I don't know why. And that's why I really attribute that part to God, because I don't know why I insisted on saying, now I have stomach cramps, and I feel like these stomach cramps are really unusual. And that's when I was referred to a specialist, and the specialist then diagnosed me. But remember, in our system, in the public healthcare system, the referral system works. You cannot, as a patient, just go to a a big hospital without being referred from your primary healthcare clinic. So it's important that we educate the primary healthcare professionals as well to be able to connect these symptoms so that patients are referred earlier, because by the time patients are diagnosed in this country, it's already too late. And this is why people think colon cancer is a life sentence, but it's a death sentence. I'm sorry, it's a death sentence, but it's actually not. If caught early, and the outcomes are different.
Dr. June, let's talk about what Boitumelo brings up here on her journey. There seems to be that diagnostic gap within the medical sector. What conversation needs to be had there in that sort of patient, doctor, medical practitioner value chain to give a sense of urgency to either referring or getting the next step of testing done, even if it's just to rule this out as a probability?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's several steps, and I think often with medicine, which is, I hate to admit it, but when we don't do things well, we blame the patients. But what we have found out from the work that we've done with previous studies is that patients are often kind of finger pointed as, but you didn't come and see us and you didn't step into the health system. What we now know is that patients do step into the health system, and they step into the health system much more often than we would think. So it's not that people are staying away. It's exactly what Tumi's saying. I went to the doctor and they told me I've got this. I went home and I didn't get better. I went back to the clinic and they told me this and I didn't get better. I went home and I went back. So when we ask patients to tell us what happened before they got into the specialist unit, for example, it's very much more a story of I asked for help and I never got what I needed, rather than I stayed away. Having said that, there is a gender thing around that as well, because women are much more inclined to step into the health space than men are. Men usually just pretend everything's fine, they carry on doing what they're doing, they don't like to talk about their symptoms. So we do find a gender difference between men and women, but across the board, I would honestly say that we're not listening and we're not hearing and we're not referring, rather than patients are not coming. So that's the first step. The second step is for patients or people with symptoms to be able to put it together. It's exactly what Tumi's saying. I started losing weight and it was non-intentional. I had blood in my stool. I had cramps I've never had before. Those are all things, when you put them together, that say, we need to do something here. So it's about people like Tumi putting their symptoms together, going into the health system that says, I hear you, we've tried a few things that's not working, we're going to screen you. And I think that's where you can't overemphasize the importance of being able to follow a treatment guideline that is endorsed by the national government. And a perfect example of that is HIV. Every single nursing sister, every single primary health care worker in this country knows exactly what to do when someone walks through the door and needs to be tested for HIV. We have algorithms, we have national guidelines, and the system works because when the healthcare workers have someone in front of them that says, I have X, Y, and Z, they know exactly what to do. The problem with our primary healthcare workers is they don't know what to do. And then when they try to refer, so for example, at Barra, they'll say, we only have one scope and we're very full, we'll see you in 6 months' time. By which time the patient's tumor is really big, and sometimes we can't operate, for example. So I think there's lots of steps along the way that potentially compromise the kind of screening and diagnosis thing that we're trying to achieve. And there's no one point that's the bottleneck. I think there's several things along the way that that are contributing to this.
As we begin to wrap up the conversation in our last 2 minutes, Boitumelo, perhaps we can touch a little bit on the emotional and psychological challenges as well that are faced by those who are diagnosed with colon cancer.
Bridget, the biggest thing is for the system to create a patient-centered approach around treatment and around diagnosis. And our patients are scared to speak about their symptoms. Colorectal cancer is not cute because a lot of what you must say refers to your stool. And people are not comfortable talking about their stools, but unfortunately that will save your life. And we must create an environment where people are comfortable to really speak about their symptoms in their entirety, you know. But the education that comes with the work that I do is teaching patients to advocate for themselves and to make it better, even for the healthcare professional to understand their symptoms better, you know. But yes, the emotional pain that comes with cancer is unexplainable. I always say to people that cancer has completely changed my life. I may be cancer-free right now, but I'm not free of cancer because I live with the trauma. I live with everything that comes with survivorship that the country and the system is not even ready to address. Survivorship is a second phase of cancer that the system is not ready to deal with, you know. But I have fear, I have anxiety. Every time I have a headache, every time I have a certain pain, I think, is it back? Is it coming back? Is it cancer in another spot, you know? And it's just a heavy diagnosis to carry as an individual. And you need people like us on the ground that works with the patient and walks the journey with them to make sure that it's comfortable and it's realistically comfortable for them. I know that in my time, I really wanted to have someone that has been there, I couldn't find one. And that's why I'm doing the work that I do.
We have to leave it there, unfortunately, for this afternoon. Ladies, I appreciate you and sharing your story and your time. That was Boitumelo Ramasodi as well as Dr. June Fabian, both doing work with collateral cancer. And you can get in contact with them at www.globallcca.org. 2:30, time for Ondela in the headline news, and then we'll get straight into our kids programming with Kids Corner.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources has announced an increase in the price of fuel with effect from midnight tonight. Gauteng police have confirmed that they are hunting for suspects who shot and killed a 40-year-old woman at a tyre fitment stand in Vanderbilt Park, south of Johannesburg, yesterday. And a new report says that rape and sexual violence remain part of everyday life in areas of Sudan, even when fighting in the civil war has moved elsewhere. Have an update follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends and happy Tuesday. Welcome to another exciting episode of Kids Corner. The holidays are here. Even if they are short, they are still a great time to relax and have fun. How will you be spending your not so long school holidays? Is there something fun or special you're planning to do during the break? Will you be spending time with family or friends? What will you do together? Are there activities you'd like to try, like reading, playing games or helping at home? How will you make sure that you also get enough rest and feel ready for the next school term? All right, friends, let's hear from some of our friends while you share answers with the people next to you.
everyone, my name is Matimba Kosa. I am 7 years old. I go to Jobless Christian Academy. This holiday I want to spend time with my little brother and also visit my grandparents and play with my friends with toys and bikes, and also make sure that I get enough time to rest and sleep every day after playing.
Hi, my name is Danica Wood. I will be spending my holidays at home, just catching up on sleep and maybe occasionally going out with some friends or maybe even family. I don't really have anything fun or special planned besides sleeping. I want to try to spend more time with my friends and family, especially my family. We'll probably just go out to the mall and have lunch together, or maybe just do sleepovers, just simple things. Something I really love to try is playing piano and being good at it, or maybe learning a sport. I'll make sure I'm ready for the next time by revising my work and trying to get a better understanding of what's going on so that next time when it's time for exams, it won't be new to me and I won't be learning the work, but instead I'll just be revising. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Akana Takaran. I am 9 years old and I am in grade 5. The way I will be spending my not so long school holiday is I will be visiting my family and friends. There's something fun that I'll be planning during my school break is to play with my friends. Yes, I will be spending time with my family and friends. We will play games and have fun. There are some activities I'd like to do while the school break, and those activities are helping at home and playing games. How I will make sure I rest and get ready for next school term is I will set some time to study and to rest.
Good afternoon. My name is Entle. I think I'm gonna spend my holidays mostly at home, and the only thing that I have planned for my holidays is to just visit family and just spend some time with them. I'm not really sure what we are gonna be doing, but I just know I'm gonna like just go see them and just be with them. There are a few activities that I would like to try. I would like to do like maybe go karting or go to bounds with like my friends. But I would also like to study more during this time, and so that when we come back to school, I don't have to study like a lot. I can just have my notes already written down. And I think how I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna rest is because the holidays are gonna be a bit long. I'm just gonna try for like maybe the first 2 weeks to sleep early, like really, really early. And then the others, I can just sleep whatever time. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Lorraine and thank you so much for listening to the Kids Radio Show today. I am spending my holiday by doing things like studying, crocheting, learning a new hobby and reading books. I will be spending time with my family and my friends by going out somewhere or hanging out and finding new activities to do each day. I would love to learn how to crochet because the product that the people make, it just looks so beautiful. I will make sure to get enough rest and to prepare for the next term by studying each subject day by day. Thank you so much for listening to me and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Good day. My name is Manae Angel Nangavera. So I will be spending my not so long school holidays with my family and with my friends. So yes, there is something fun and special that we're planning to do during the break because this weekend we'll be having mass weddings in our church, so we might go and celebrate the mass weddings with others. I will be spending the time both with family and friends. And what we'll do together, obviously, we are going to celebrate the Easter holidays, have rice, go out with my friends, and just create a lot of memories. There are activities that I would like to try at home, basically playing games, getting to know each other with other family members that we might not know, and helping at home. So, how I will make sure that I also rest and get ready for the next school term is that I'll make sure that I will not stay up late. I'll be preparing myself with the next topics that we're going to be doing in the second term at school, and basically reduce any activities that might require me to have a lot of energy or that are going to drain energy. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kit. I am slowly turning emo because our schools are not on holiday and we're still working very hard at school. But our holidays are coming very soon in April, and I'm excited for the holidays because before the holidays we have camp, and the camp looks like really fun. And then afterwards I'm gonna chill and I'm gonna watch movies, I'm gonna watch Stranger Things, and I am gonna just enjoy my time, and I'm gonna spend time with my family and my friends, and I'm just gonna live the life. But for now, I'm still at school, and I'll be strong. The advice that I have for other kids that are on holiday is that although we're on holiday, we should still keep being productive. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying I'm do schoolwork and keep working on the holidays. That is not my plan at all. But like doing things that are not just watching TV, like painting, or just spending time with family, having family discussions, and not just straining your eyes, because you will have damaged eyes in the end. And we don't want that. And we want to still be amazing students at school, and we want to keep being productive while having fun.
Thank you, friends. It's always great to hear from you. School holidays, even when they are short, are a special time to relax, recharge, and enjoy a break from a busy school routine. It is a chance for you to slow down, have fun, and spend quality time doing things you enjoy. Whether the holidays are filled with exciting plans or simple moments at home, every break is an opportunity to rest and refresh. Many children look forward to spending time with family and friends during the holidays. This could include visiting relatives, playing games together, watching movies, going outdoors, or simply enjoying meals as a family. These moments help strengthen relationships and create happy memories that last long after the holidays are over. Holidays are also a great time to try new or enjoyable activities. You can read storybooks, draw, play sports, help with small chores at home, or learn a new skill. Doing a mix of fun and meaningful activities help keep the mind active while still allowing the time to relax. Even simple things like playing outside, riding a bike, or helping in the kitchen can be both fun and rewarding. At the same time, rest is very important. After a long school term, the body and mind needs time to recover. Getting enough sleep, taking breaks from screens, balancing fun activities with proper rest is the key to making the most of the holidays. Preparing slowly for the next school term is also helpful. This might include organizing school supplies, getting back into a good sleep routine, and mentally getting ready to learn again. Starting the new term feeling rested and prepared makes a big difference in confidence and performance. In the end, even a short holiday can be meaningful. It is time to rest, have fun, and prepare for new goals ahead. By using this time wisely, you will return to school feeling happier, stronger, and ready to do your best once again. That's it for today, friends. See you next time.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
For 90 years, one voice has informed, challenged, and connected a nation. SAFM. South Africa's national English public radio station. Established in 1936 as the SABC's very first service, the A program, evolving through the English service, Radio South Africa to SAFM in 1995, shaping thought and strengthening democracy. From a full-spectrum station to a trusted home of news and talk, SAFM continues to lead the conversations 90 years strong. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, in our last few moments on the show, by the way, just in case you weren't aware, if you missed that breaking news that the South African government has decided to step in and help a little bit by decreasing the proposed April fuel levy increase. Remember, the fuel levy was going to go up as of tomorrow, besides the fuel price going up as of tomorrow, but the levy was also going up as of tomorrow. They've decided to give us a little bit of a cushioner by taking that levy down by 3 Rand instead of it going up. So it's going to be, the fuel levy is going to be decreased by 3 Rand. Because we are live on air at the moment, we are obviously not watching the story develop, so we don't have all of those finer details, but Ondela and the news do, and I'm sure Ashraf and his team are also preparing that package for you to see what was the motivation. But do we care what was the motivation at this point? I think we're all just thankful for that 3 Rand that has been taken away. So it should bring the anticipated petrol price as of midnight tonight an increase of round about 3 Rand, depending on where you are, coastal or inland. And the diesel price should go up by just over 7 Rand, depending on whether you are coastal or inland. And paraffin up by 11 Rand, depending, my apologies, got caught in my words, depending if you are inland or coastal. So those are the prices as they stand. In fact, let me just get this frog out of my throat right now.
Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you Commission Live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Let's try it again. The gremlin, the frog is out of the throat. I think, kind of shook me also, because oftentimes we have to beg and plead with the government to do things that make our lives a little bit better. So the fact that they decided to take this decision, albeit at the 11th hour, we still appreciate it nonetheless. Dr. Mampifo Twala joins us now, Water Sector Manager at the Energy and Water Sector Education and Training Authority. And we're looking at the skills gap, which is threatening South Africa's water reform efforts. It is Water Month, and the message from the sector is clear. Infrastructure alone cannot solve the crises. Building a capable, skilled workforce will be key to ensuring that water reform translates into reliable, safe, and equitable access for all. How are you doing, Dr. Twala?
I'm great. Thanks, Bridget. Thank you so much for having me, and greetings to your listeners.
We thank you for the time today. Much appreciated indeed. With the theme for the year being that infrastructure cannot solve the crises and we need to build a capable and skilled workforce. What does that look like, and why is restoring the country's water systems a skills challenge and not just a case of infrastructure?
Restoring and upgrading water infrastructure is a critical step in addressing some of the challenges that we're seeing in South Africa right now. But we're saying that infrastructure alone can't solve the problem. So while we see all the problems that we're having, we're saying that water infrastructure such as your treatment plants, your pump station, your distribution networks, they also require skilled professionals to operate and maintain and repair these systems on a daily basis. So in other words, the infrastructure alone will not secure South Africa's water future because the system only works when there are skilled people to operate and maintain it.
What kind of technical skills are we talking about here? What's most needed? And double to that, what direction perhaps could young people who are interested in the sector pursue?
So if we look at some of the sector needs, there's a strong base for technical and artisanal skills. It is important to strengthen training for water artisans such as your plumbing and your millwright technicians. So we are needing career pathways such as the ones that EWCTA has developed. You're looking at things like your industrial water plant operators, borehole pump operators, industrial water process controllers, also water works management practitioners and the like. That also includes your water use specialists, your water resource managers as well. So these are all options that young people can look into, and not only are they offered at your traditional universities as an example, these can also be accessed from your TVET colleges.
Does the shortage of these skills also just indicate the shortage of critical technical skills in South Africa?
Indeed. So we are needing to beef up our sector with people who have the hands-on know-how, people who can actually do the actual on-the-ground works. If you think about when we've got leaks and when we've got pipes that just need repair. So we're looking at people who can maintain water infrastructure and treatment plants. Those are the kinds of skills that need to be beefed up. This also includes even your engineers, people that can design, refurbish, and expand water infrastructure.
Let's talk a little bit as well, Dr. Mapifu. Let's talk a little bit about skills development and how that actually goes a ways towards supporting municipalities and water utilities. Because I look at Joburg, born and bred in Durban. I'm a professional migrant like most people living in Johannesburg. And I look at Joburg driving to and from work. There is a hole that is dug up by Joburg Water every 50 meters along any route and path in Johannesburg, in most corners, in most suburbs. And obviously we all know, living in municipalities, we know the challenges that we face every single day as communities and consumers. So how do these skills development goes a ways towards supporting municipalities in their challenges and their endeavors, as well as the respective water utilities?
So if you think about employed workers, right, we need to constantly be upskilling and professionalizing our existing workforce as well within the water sector. That is our key institutions such as your municipalities. This will help with ensuring that we're strengthening our institutional performance and we ensuring that employed people can address those technical gaps that you are talking about that we're experiencing on a daily basis. So we not only just need to be focusing on our degraded infrastructure, but we need to look at the people, the artisan development that can help us with people on the ground that can work on all the more practical problems that we are experiencing, especially in our key institutions such as our municipalities. And it's not only municipalities alone. We're also talking key institutions such as our water boards, our catchment management agencies. This is the on-the-ground catchment level institutions that are ensuring that our water is protected all the way from the resource to the tap.
Considering also the rapid evolution of the water sector, where things like climate change and new technologies are coming into the fray, how does training adapt to prepare the workforce for these changes? How does training adapt to make the workforce a bit more agile, a bit more innovative? We've just come out of Innovators Week, for instance, and we've been running the promos on the show. How does that conversation tie into a conversation around water development or water skills development?
Yeah, so this also just means that because of the evolving nature of the challenges we're facing, we need to look ahead. We need to look at emerging areas such as our smart systems. Nowadays, technology is on the rise, and a lot of the stuff is needing us to adapt. We need to look into digital water management systems. We also need to look into nature-based solutions, even in some instances. Sometimes systems are able to restore and repair themselves if they are given the chance. So what we call nature-based solutions, also some of the innovative and also emerging systems that are coming up that need to be given attention in order for us to realize that sustainable water management. So these types of skills will become more increasingly important as utilities adapt to these new technologies. So we need to be monitoring our water systems, improving our efficiency, and also responding to environmental pressures, doing so using some of the advancements and capabilities that are coming through in the digital reforms.
The importance perhaps of aligning skills planning as well with what is happening on the ground, if we're talking treatment plants, pump stations, and distribution networks?
Indeed. So one of the key challenges in many sectors is that training programs are sometimes not developed, are developed without fully reflecting the realities of the operational environment. So we need to better align infrastructure investment with workforce planning, which will mean driving skills development that is guided by what's happening in the treatment plants and also our pump stations, also across our reticulation networks, right? So when training priorities are shaped by the actual challenges that municipalities face, as an instance, it can ensure that we are able to maintain our backlogs, we are able to respond to our system failures or any other operational inefficiencies.
Lastly, perhaps, Dr. Mapifo, let's look at how can building the right skills today help strengthen South Africa's long-term water security, because we do have this conversation around water scarcity in South Africa.
Yeah, developing the right skills base is essential, not only for addressing immediate water system failures, but also for ensuring that the sector can manage future pressures. In the water governance realm, we are becoming increasingly focused on accountability, particularly with the introduction of things like your licensing of water service providers and the possibility of criminal consequences for ongoing failures. This means that water has been elevated to a national priority. We have all heard what the president said with a water crisis committee now being formed. This means there's a real shift which reframes the issue as a test of professional competence and also institutional responsibility. So building our capable workforce has become critical and a national priority in South Africa.
I think I want to wrap up the conversation, and we touched a little bit on young people, right? And their interest in this sector. And I think I want to wrap up the conversation with a pointed message from your end as the Water Sector Education and Training Authority around the opportunities that lie for young people, those with artisanal skills, those who see themselves as innovators, those who see themselves as engineers and scientists with perhaps a futuristic outlook of how to solve some of the many problems that are faced by the water sector?
The message from my side is for young people to remain open-minded. Young people must be open to exploring the different options. You know how when you're a young person, if one door closed, you need to remember that there is a window that is open. An example is what I was talking about, that sometimes if you are not accepted into a particular university, just know that in South Africa we also have TVET colleges that also provide a career pathway that can lead you back to the very career that you had chosen in the beginning. There's also a vast opportunity or a vast basket of opportunities that exist. People need to look into the CETA space and look at all the options that CETAs offer. We offer a wide range of options for different stages of life that a young person might be in. Like I said, if somebody is still at tertiary level, there's bursaries that are available for them. If somebody is an entrant, a young graduate in the workplace, that person can be offered programs that is able to assist them with their professionalization. If somebody is an older employee that's already been employed for a couple of years, they're able to upskill and reskill themselves and harness their skills through some of the programs that the CETA offers. So for me, it would be to say, if you're a young person out there, keep your eyes open, read out, look for the different options that are available. There is options out there that people can pursue. They just need to open their minds to them and also be in the know, keep in touch with social media platforms that are sharing all these various options that one can pursue.
Dr. Mapifo Twala, thank you so much for the time. Water Sector Manager at the Energy and Water Sector Education and Trainings Authority. That's all the time we have for this afternoon. Ashraf is standing by with the National Pulse. From our end, we'll leave it there today. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Inshallah, God willing, we have ourselves an awesome day.
For 90 years, one voice has informed, challenged and connected a nation. SAFM, South Africa's national English public radio station. Established in 1936 as the SABC's very first service, the A program evolving through the English service, Radio South Africa to SAFM in 1995, shaping thought and strengthening democracy. From a full spectrum station to a trusted home of news and talk, SAFM continues to lead the conversations 90 years strong. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
On the top stories, fuel price increases officially announced and rape and sexual violence remain part of everyday life in Sudan. For SFM News, I am Ondelambana and a very good afternoon. The Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources has announced an increase in the price of fuel with effect from midnight tonight. Both grades of